This video is set up to help you with the Incredible Inequalities worksheet. I'm going to go ahead and start with 1. When we're looking at 1, it says a minus 3 is less than 4. This week we were talking about when it's set as an equals equation, so a minus 3 equals 4. My students know how to solve this kind of problem. When you're looking at the inequality, I want you to solve it exactly the same way. The only thing that's different is that we have an inequality sign. So let's go ahead and solve it the normal way, and then I'll explain about the inequality sign. Okay, so first things first, I want to draw a line through the inequality sign, and I want to think about what my goal is. My goal is that I want a to be by itself. So that means I have to get rid of this negative 3 right here. So how do I get rid of it? I'm going to have to make it 0. How do I make negative 3 0? I'm going to add 3. Okay, if I'm going to add 3 to this side, I'm also going to add 3 to this side over here. Okay, so that's why in class I'm always talking about if we know it's a subtraction problem, in order to solve we're going to have to add. That's where this comes from. Okay, so now we know that negative 3 plus 3, that now equals 0. So we're going to go ahead and bring down the a, and we're going to solve this side, and then I'm going to talk about the inequality. So 4 plus 3 gives me 7. Alright, now this inequality sign right here, it's a less than sign. If we divide or multiply by a negative, our sign's going to flip. So instead of less than, it's going to be greater than. But in this instance, we have plus 3. We're adding 3, and so we don't need to do anything with our sign. So go ahead and just bring it down. So a is less than 7. Okay, on this number line part here, I want you to write 7, and then on this side I want you to write a number that's bigger than 7, which is 8. And on the other side of 7, I want you to write a number that is smaller than 7, which is 6. Okay, so when we're looking at this, we know that a is less than 7, so I'm going to go to 7, I'm going to put a circle around it. Now, the sign tells me whether or not we need to include 7. Since a is less than 7, it cannot be included with 7. Okay, so that means that we're going to have to shade everything that is less than 7. So is 8 less than 7? No. Is 6 less than 7? Yes. So go ahead and draw your arrow which goes this direction. So my solution is all the numbers that are less than 7. Okay, so let's go ahead and try number 5. Alright, on number 5, what kind of problem do we have? We have a multiplication problem. We're multiplying here. 3 times y, okay, multiplication. So how do we undo it? What is the opposite? The opposite of multiplication is, of course, division. So I'm going to divide. Alright, so when I divide, I have to decide what am I trying to do? I'm trying to get y by itself. So in order to get y by itself, we need to divide by anything in front of y, which happens to be 3. So go ahead, we're dividing by 3 on both sides. Okay, now 3 over 3, that equals 1, so that's going to give me what y is equal to, or what the value of y is. So go ahead, we're going to decide, do I need to change my inequality sign? No, because I'm not dividing by a negative, so this is going to stay the same, so it's still going to be greater than or equal to. Now let's go ahead and do our division. 15 divided into 3 groups gives me 5, and we know that if the number is negative and another number is positive, two different signs mean that the answer is negative. Okay, so y is greater than or equal to negative 5. Alright, so on the number line I'm going to write negative 5, and a number that is bigger than negative 5 would be negative 4. A number that is smaller than negative 5 would be negative 6. Our first thing we're going to do, put a circle on negative 5. Now guys, when we're reading this, y is greater than or equal to negative 5. So because it has this right here, equal to, we're going to fill in the dot. Okay. Now it says greater than or equal to negative 5. So when we're talking about greater than, we're getting bigger. So all the numbers that are bigger, we're going to shade for our solution. So go ahead and shade this. So all of these need to be shaded. Alright. Now let's do one more. Let's do 7. 7. What kind of problem is 7? 7 is an addition problem. So how do I undo addition? I am going to have to subtract. So if I want g by itself, I have to move this positive 8. How do I move the positive 8? I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to subtract 8. Now what am I going to do on the other side? I'm going to subtract 8 over here. Okay, so now I know that this is 0, so I don't bring anything down. And I have g here. Now, I am going to, because I'm not multiplying or dividing, I'm subtracting, I can keep my inequality sign the same. And 0 minus 8, that gives me negative 8. Okay? Now, on my number line, I'm going to go ahead and write negative 8. And what is something that is bigger than negative 8? That would be negative 7. On the other side of negative 8, I'm going to go ahead and write negative 9. All right. Go ahead and put a circle around negative 8, all right? And when we read this, it says g is greater than negative 8. So negative 8 is not actually in our solution because the number g is a number that is greater than negative 8, so it should not be included. So when we think greater than, we think we're getting bigger, right? Greater than, bigger. So we're actually going to shade all the numbers that are bigger, which happens to be to the right. So we're going to shade all of those with an arrow. Alright, I have done 3 problems with you. You have 10 total, but because I did 3, you now have 7. So go ahead and get your homework done.